My first choice was radio, broadcasting broadly.
Okay.
My second choice was radio. And my third choice was predictably radio.
Naturally.
So that's just what happened. I didn't want to do anything else.
Yeah.
Even though my career guidance teachers had advised otherwise. In fact, I made a lot of enemies because they thought I could be a chartered accountant,
Yes.
that I could be an economist. But broadcasting kept calling my name and I responded.
And so at 19 years, you decide to write to Radio Springbok in the middle of apartheid South Africa because you're like, listen, this is where I want to be.
Correct. So I was 17 when I started bugging the SABC.
Yeah.
I was doing my second last year at school, the first time I wrote to them. And then I wrote again when I was doing my final year at school. And I made it clear that I wanted to work for Springbok Radio.
Okay.
And Springbok Radio was shutting down, though, on the 31st of December, 1985.
Okay.
And that's when I was doing my final year of school.
Yeah.
But long story short, then I received a letter from the SABC saying, we don't have anything going on at the moment, but if anything should come up, we'll let you know. And as fate would have it,
Something came up.
I received a letter telling me that there would be a new radio station launched called Radio Metro. And if I'm interested in an audition, I can, make the necessary arrangements. So this is what happened when I received the letter.
Yeah.
I still have that letter, by the way.
What?
Yes. So we didn't have a phone at home at the time, but I was to phone to make an arrangement for the interview. So there was no phone, and I looked around in the neighborhood, and all the public phones were not working.
Okay.
So my mother gave me some money to get on the bus and go to the nearest town, which was at least 100 kilometers away.
Sure.
And so I went. When I got there, the public phones were not working. So I was stuck.
Jeez.
But I needed to make this call.
No one with a cell phone in sight.
This was in 1985.
So no way. There's no
cell phones. What
Not even
is that?
close.
Yeah.
I mean, that's urban legend.
Yeah.
And long story short, I went to a shop.
Okay.
And I spoke to the shop owner and I said, I have to make a call.
Okay.
The public phones in town are not working and I will pay you for it. And he was kind enough to allow me to phone. And I used the money that my mother had given me to buy food. And that went into, because it was then more costly than using a public phone.
Yes.
But it didn't matter. I just wanted to make that call. And this guy was kind enough to allow me to do that. So I made that call, and an arrangement was made with a Mr. Taslaw, who was the general manager at the time.
Yeah.
And I got here, and the odds were completely stacked against me.
Never been on radio. Never been in studio.
I had never seen a studio. I never knew what a studio looked like. I'd seen pictures, but I'd never been physically in a studio. I had no idea what it looked like. So the odds were against me in that I had 0.0 broadcasting experience to speak of, or experience of any nature. I was only 19.
Yes.
And as you know, Metro FM is unapologetically urban, and I'm semi-urban. So I didn't tick that box either. I was an outsider, even though I was never made to feel like an outsider, but I accepted the fact that I had outsider status.
Yes.
I also didn't talk much, and I don't talk much. So if you look at the boxes, I didn't tick any. But what they did, they took a chance on me. They employed me strictly on potential, nothing else, strictly on potential. Even though, I had nothing to show for what I could do.
For what you could do, but they could see that there's something there.
They took a chance on me, and I'm forever grateful, eternally grateful to the people who believed in me when I had absolutely nothing to show.
So we've got the legend in studio, Sir Wilson B Nkosi. I'm seeing all the WhatsApps coming through on our WhatsApp lamp, which is 0605842250. We are still not going to stop. We are still on Metro.
Yes.
I want to find out about his first day at work. I'm just imagining all of the legends that he worked with, what it was like.
Yep.
Does he even remember the first song that he played on that first show that he did on Metro?
Of course, I do remember the song. It was United in Love, the Commodores.
Oh.
So all of those conversations coming up next.
Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
Management. I still like my job, please.
Yes. Never gets old.
So I really want to go back to, obviously you are 19. You are with all of these legends. I don't know if you remember just some names that you can drop on who you used to work with back then.
So there was the who's who of radio.
Yeah.
You know, there was Lucky Ntuli. There was Treasure Shabalala. There was Tim Modise. There was Lawrence Dube, Boogie Harry.
Shadow Twala. I mean,
Sheila D.
Jeesh.
And there was Mishma Petla. And I've mentioned all the people that were there. There were not very many.
Who was the first one you interacted with?
There was Gran Shakwane. There was Tom Patswe. When I came in, it's a very fascinating story. All the guys liked me. I thought they did. But there was one that seemed to like me more, and I had no idea why.
Okay.
And that was Grant William Shakwane. I found myself gravitating more towards him. But everyone was very kind to me. And I would later learn that Grant and I share a birthday.
Oh, so the
And-
connection was there.
Yeah, so we traveled the country together. You know, we would go to Swaziland together. We'll go to Limpopo together. It was really, really kind to me until he took his last breath. And I've told this story before, but it is worth repeating.
Yeah.
Years ago, more than 30 years ago, he visited our home. We lived in Midrand at the time.
Okay.
And my parents were there. So he gets there and he starts talking to them the Grand Shakwane style.
Yeah.
And so he speaks to them in broken Siswati. But it goes on and on and on. But they can understand, what he's saying.
Yes.
And I think they appreciated the effort. And it goes on and on and on. Let me tell you, from that day onwards, I stopped to be my family's favorite DJ. Grand Shakwane was suddenly my favorite. Because they would always ask, where is Shakwane? Where is that Shakwane person?
Yes.
So, yeah, he took over. But all the guys were really just very kind to me.
Yeah.
I'll have you know that when I came here, I said earlier on I was employed strictly on the question of potential.
Yes.
So Mr. Hadebe and Mr. Taslaw, Mr. Hadebe, of course, Hadebe was our station manager.
Okay.
And the general manager was a Mr. Taslaw. So they gave me a 1-year contract. But they said, if after 3 months there is no progress, they would have to ask me to leave. And I understood that. And so the first thing I did, realizing that I had all these giants around me, to close that gap, I had to do 3 things that come naturally to me. Effortlessly. They come effortlessly.
Yeah.
I had to observe. I'm a student of observation. I had to listen. I listened very attentively. And I had to read. And read and read and read.
I see.
To close that gap. But all those things come naturally to me. I was raised that way.
Yeah.
And so I was given 3 months on air.
Okay.
Tomorrow, the 1st of September, is 36 years later.
Woo! Woohoo!
Just listening to you, I can hear that you're a perfectionist. Take us back to your first show. I know, especially when it comes to radio, people don't understand. You get into the studio, maybe you've spent some time learning how to use the desk, but the very first show, it's as if your voice doesn't come out. Do you remember your first show? Are you nervous? Do you remember the buttons? Do you remember?
I was a nervous wreck. I co-presented with Timothy Modise from midnight till 5.
Okay.
We called the show the All-Night Flight.
Yes.
Correct. And I was nervous. I was shaking like a leaf.
You couldn't get your
It
voice
was
out.
freezing in the studio, but I was sweating. And then I played the Commodores.
Yeah.
United in Love.
Yes.
And let me tell you, I was nervous. I was nervous. And my favorite person phoned in the morning
Yeah.
to say, I heard you on the radio, Nkosi. That was my mother.
Oh.
And that just was
Your
enough,
biggest
right?
fan.
Yeah.
36 years later, would you still say that you feel the nerves or?
All the time.
Yes.
All the time. You may not pick it up, but the first, say, 30 minutes or so, I'm a nervous wreck in the studio. And I promise you. And I only settle after maybe about 30 minutes or so. I still get very, very nervous. Even now, I'm nervous.
And
I'm just not showing it.
That's how you know you're still at the right place. But also, you are a thoroughbred broadcaster. I mean, you're still that Wilson B Nkosi today, still bringing in and showing up in exactly the same way. Why is that important to you?
It's very important to me, and thank you very much for your observation. It's very important for me because I never forget that this is what I asked for, and it was given to me. I never forget that this is a wish that was generously granted. I never forget the times when I prayed for the things that I have now. And that's what keeps me going, to remember that, by the way, I asked for this.
And sometimes we forget.
Yeah.
And it was given to me.
Yeah.
And so I don't take it for granted. I come to life with no sense of entitlement, with no sense of expectation. And so when good things happen to me, I'm made to feel even smaller than I already am. And I'm being very honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm not patronizing you. I'm not trying to sell myself as someone who is condescendingly modest. I feel that way, that I am lucky that I was chosen by history to play a certain role, no matter how humble and how modest and how small. And so I'm forever grateful and eternally grateful for the opportunity that I've been given. A lot of people have been rooting for me. A lot of people have been praying for me. There's a part of me that wants to believe that those prayers have been heard. So in the absence of knowing exactly what led to all this, I have to work on the assumption that their prayers were heard, and their prayers are heard.
You are chosen indeed.
It's 7:30, so we're going to go to news with Roseanne Gief. We are still hanging out with Sir Wilson B Nkosi. We are also live on all social media platforms, by the way, at Radio 2000_ZA on Facebook.
Because you have to see how young he is.
as well as on YouTube. You can also check it out. And just before we go through, I know a lot of people don't remember these things. There was a show called In the Still of the Night. That show was bigger than TV. He also has the biggest. I know you're modest, but his numbers are bigger than a lot of daytime shows, and he's the biggest on the weekend, and it's been that consistent for the last 36 years. So we see you, and a lot of us come through your school of radio. That's why we are trying to do the thing that we are doing, and that's why we're nervous just having you in the studio.
I just wanted to say that if you've seen us on the Facebooks and the YouTubes, I'm sure it's even unfamiliar because we're all like so in within ourselves because we don't know what to do.
So in Panda, normally you're true, but today today I'm nervous.
SABC News, independent and impartial.
Good morning, I'm Roseanne Gief. A total of 4 political parties have made disclosures to the tune of over 27 million rand for the first quarter of the 2022-23 financial year, as required by the Political Funding Act. The Democratic Alliance topped that list, having received close to 15 million rand. And EFF leader Julius Malema has demanded that President Cyril Ramaphosa be held to account in the Palapala Farm saga. Ramaphosa's parliament question session was delayed by more than an hour yesterday, as some opposition MPs called for it to be held in person. More news at 8.
And the sports reports with Lonwabo Nkohla is proudly brought to you by Nedbank.
So, were you watching the FIFA World Cup? At home. You? Live, hopefully. Seriously? Seriously. Every 1,000 rands or more you spend on your Nedbank Visa card earns you a chance to win a trip to Qatar 2022. Thanks to Visa.
Qatar 2022 for the tap and win!
Do you want a bank that takes your money or a bank that takes your money seriously? See money differently. Nedbank, we're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply. Visa, official FIFA partner.
Get it first on your mobile, on the web, and on your dial. This is Radio 2000 Sport.
Good morning. In your sport, we start off with rugby. Springbok coach Jacques Nienaber is not letting the frustrations of South Africans here at home disrupt preparations for Saturday's rugby championship clash against the Wallabies in Sydney. The 25-17 defeat to the Wallabies in Adelaide last weekend was South Africa's third loss in 6 test matches this season. The Boks are now languishing in last place in the rugby championship standings with just one win, and Saturday's clash in Sydney is a must-win if they want to stay in the hunt for the title. But Nienaber is adamant that he's not feeling the heat just yet.
Look, the only pressure myself personally and the team probably feels is the pressure we put on ourselves. And that's obviously because of the losses. The pressure is trying to get solutions for the next game. It's not pressure of the outside pressure. It's internal pressure. No coach can control the outside pressure.
And in tennis, Emma Raducanu became only the third defending champion to exit the US Open in the first round yesterday, while 4-time winner Rafael Nadal overcame an early scare against a player ranked 198 in the world. 19-year-old Raducanu slumped to a 6-3, 6-3 defeat to veteran French player Elise Cornet, who's competing in a record 63rd consecutive Grand Slam. World number 1 Iga Swiatek breezed into the second round of the US Open with a straight sets victory over Italy's Jasmine Paolini. Nadal saw off wildcard who's Australian Rinky Hijikata 4-6, 6-2, 6-3, 6-3 to register his 65th career win in New York. In another match, Venus Williams tumbled out of the US Open at the first hurdle, beaten in straight sets by unheralded Belgian Alison van Uitvank. In the beautiful game, the Brazilians women's senior football team to play Banyana Banyana in 2 international friendlies in the next few days have brought a strong squad filled with international players also based in Europe. According to team manager Ana Lorena, among some of the players in the current squad is Barcelona Geise and Arsenal defender Rafael.
The European
yes,
based
we
player.
have half our players play in Brazil, and another half play in Europe or in the United States. We have 2 girls that are arriving from the United States too. So we
including
have
from Barcelona.
Yes, we have Jay-Z from Barcelona, Rafa from Arsenal. We have good players in very good teams.
And if you're a Chelsea fan this morning, it is not your morning. Southampton completed a stunning first half turnaround to inflict Chelsea's second defeat of the season with a deserved 2-1 victory. Thomas Tuchel's side are now 5 points behind leaders Arsenal, having taken only 7 points from their first 5 matches, despite the evening on the South Coast starting perfectly when Raheem Sterling netted his 3rd goal of the season from close range. However, Southampton fought back through talented teenager Romeo Lavia, who blasted home from the edge of the area to lift a subdued St. Mary's. And that's where we wrap it up. Final sport headlines coming up at 8. Radio 2000 Sport. I am Lonwabo Nkohla.
And that sports reports with Lonwabo Nkohla was proudly brought to you by Nedbank.
So, were you watching the FIFA World Cup? At home, you? Live, hopefully. Seriously. Every 1,000 rands or more you spend on your Nedbank Visa card earns you a chance to win a trip to Qatar 2022. Thanks to Visa.
Qatar 2022 for the tap and win!
Do you want a bank that takes your money or a bank that takes your money seriously? See money differently. Nedbank, we're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply. Visa, official FIFA partner.
Fraserburg, we got you covered on 98.6 FM. Feel good music.
Soweto Central Chorus of the Salvation Army featuring Something Soweto. Bow, bow, bow.
Hey, you know, Rugby World Cup Sevens is here. It's time for fast rugby and fast 5G home Wi-Fi. With range buy one get one free. Upgrade to ultra fast unlimited home 5G premium for only $9.99 a month. Yes, and get a second premium month-to-month plan free. Pass it on to your neighbor, granny, whoever. Delivered to you fast from rain.co.za. Rugby World Cup Sevens. Proudly sponsored by Rain. T's and C's apply.
South Africa's iconic nature conservation show is back on SABC2. Catch 50/50 every Monday at 7 p.m. for yet another exciting season as we look at novel ways to enjoy and replenish Mother Nature for everything she gives to us. Only on SABC2.
Rob Byrne, what's going on in traffic?
On air, online, and on your mobile. This is Radio 2000 Traffic.
Good morning. Heavy backlogs through Midrand. There's a crash at the bottom end of the highway just getting into Buccleuch interchange. Traffic working back through Allendale Road and parking back through to New Road. It is heavy. Joburg bound. Durban, a crash at Congella on the Southern Freeway inbound. It's a real mess this morning. The M4 jamming very heavily as you line up from Jacobs, Clarewood all the way through to that Congella crashing. Also staying in Durban, the M7 heavily jammed with truck traffic this morning in that Roxburgh area, both to and from the Bluff, really badly backed up. Mngeni Road remains closed between Quarry Road East and Alpine. That's due to more protesting. Alpine Road North closed going that way as well. It is causing a lot of traffic backlogging through parts of Durban locally just south of the Springfield area, and it's causing a delay on the N2 from Inunda Road down to Spaghetti Junction as motorists can't come onto the Mngeni Road, so they have to stay on the N2. Cape Town, good news coming in. Chapman's Peak Drive has been reopened. It was closed yesterday and all last night because of high winds, but Chappies this morning is open. A medical emergency on the N1 inbound just on Plattercliff Hill, so coming through from the Belleville side it's slow, and Marine Drive under pressure again this morning. We're queuing from Bayside Junction right through to Paddocks Racecourse Road in Milnerton.
Stay in touch with us. Facebook, Radio 2000 ZA.
Okay, so the number is 086 000 247, and I'm still trying to find the rhythm. Or should it be 086 000 2479? That's the number. And I think the easiest way, we'll also tweet the number at Radio 2000 _ZA, just hashtag the takeoff, and we'll try and keep up with as many of the phone calls as we can. These are some voice notes that have come through.
Good morning, the winning breakfast team. Kitumi Sang, the big easy tea from Soshanguve. Sir Wilson B Nkosi, good morning to you, my good sir. I'd like to say to you, thank you so much for being consistent and for being nostalgic when it comes to music. One of the highlights, I remember it was 2017, whereby you played a song by William Smokey Robinson, a song called Be Gentle with the Growing Mind. Oh, I turned up the volume on that Sunday. Thank you so much. You play rare grooves. Those ones still you bring them back. Thank you so much. Keep well, my good sir.
Vuyelwa is on the line from Secunda. Vuyelwa, morning.
Morning,
Hey, good morning. The legend is in studio, Vuyelwa.
Yeah, Dada. First of all, I want to thank you so much. I am 30 years of age and I have never missed a session. Oh. You have no idea how much of an impact you had on me. I remember driving home, my mother telling me that my dad has passed. You took me through that. And I will forever be grateful for you and the talent that you have given us and every Thank you.
No, thank you for holding my hand over the years. Thank you very much.
May God bless you and continue to protect you, not only for us, but for everybody else around you that you bless on a daily basis with your beautiful voice and your talent.
Thank you so much, Vielo. Have a great day.
Yes, Mangele is also on the line. It's Akani. Morning, Mangele.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, darling. Are you a bit emotional right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes. We are really
humbled, and we are really honored. We really appreciate having you, sir, on our radio on Sunday, and keep on doing the good work. I remember one day he played the song R.J. Reynolds, I Give This Ring, and we called him to find out where can we get it. You know what? I'm actually speechless, but keep on doing the good work. We really appreciate you. Thank you for keeping us going on Sunday mornings. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ceci. Thank you very much.
I just, at the back of what Vuyela was saying, I think the role that you've played, just getting from the emotions. I was saying to Bongani when we were playing a song that I want to say something, but the emotions are so heavy because you've been a constant in our lives. We've lost people that are so close to us, but it feels like you've always been there. To Umama at home saying, I'm not leaving the house until I hear. And then the minute you start speaking, you take us back to those moments at home, the cooking, the warmth, and you formed part of that crucial times of our lives that sometimes we miss so dearly because we don't have that anymore. Our homes are broken, our parents have died, our grandparents are no longer there, but it feels like you're still there.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I accept that. Thank you, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You know, it's a very strange thing that you should say that, because over the years, I've received a number of awards.
Yes.
Which is very ironic if you consider the fact that this is a guy who doesn't say anything but gets rewarded and awarded for talking. I can't explain it.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. I'm not the life of a party, but, you know, that's how the universe sees it. But thank you very much, sis. I appreciate that, and it means a lot to me. You give me enormous strength to keep going.
Morning, Million Gang Gang. Oh, you've just made my morning, man. You've just made my morning. You've got arguably the best ever to do radio. Sir Wilson B Nkosi. Guys, you've just made my morning, man. Thanks.
Oh, Babe Nkosi. Babe Nkosi. My Tuesday is what's today? Wednesday. I'm even confused. My Wednesday is made. It feels like a chilled Sunday plus weather. Ulangambule. Babe Nkosi, we love you so much. May uNkulunkulu continue to bless you with the gift of life. You are loved. Siyakuthanda wena wekunene.
Thank you.
Yo guys, morning.
Good morning.
Yo, it's Nomcebo here from Soshanguve. Thank you for bringing our legend there, Mr. Wilson B Nkosi. Yo, I remember him and Eddie Zondi when they first started this thing here, Sunday Soul Session. I Babe Shaya. Our Sundays used to be like, wow. I'm looking forward for every Sundays.
Hi guys, this is Rose Oyi from East London, but in Port Elizabeth. Wilson is my lifelong crush. Thank you for bringing him. He's a wonderful human being. I've dealt with him a few times. I don't know if you'll remember, but he's a wonderful person. And well done, Wilson, for staying the course and becoming a living legend. We love listening to you. You're an awesome person.
Good morning, 2 Million Gang. What a legend you have in your program. My question for Mr. Wilson, because this is Nozepo from Josini. I've noticed that in the middle of your program, which is a slot of R&B, but you also play gospel music. I want to know whether are you a religious person, are you Christian? That is my question.
Sir, are you religious? Are you Christian?
I'm both.
Okay.
I'm both. That's my background. Before there was Luther Vandross, before there was Aretha Franklin, before there was Smokey Robinson, Diana Ross, Patty LaBelle, Gladys Knight, and I can go on and on and on. There were those hymns in my life.
So it makes sense why the connection is there.
It makes perfect sense.
I want to come back and speak to you about your relationship with Kansas, and how close you guys were, and also just what he meant to you and how you guys actually ended up being so close. Because he was obviously, back then it was Radio Zulu.
Yes.
And I remember Kamukibelo. I was still very young at home, and I remember him dominating the radio stations. I really want to talk about your relationship when we come back.
He sparked the interest in me when it comes to radio. As I said earlier on, when I learned that everyone and every person has to earn their keep, I thought mine should come through radio.
Yeah.
But the person who sparked that interest was Kansas City. I would listen to him when I was a kid, and I wanted to do what he was doing. And I still remember his links very, very well. And so I would listen very attentively. But fast forward, 1986. It's about 2 in the morning.
Sorry, sir. Let me pay bills, because I don't want to interrupt you, because I'm.
You know the drill.
Get an insurance quote with MyWay and you could win your share of 350,000 Rand in fuel vouchers. Kwalisa! Fill up Mondays with MyWay. Visit myway.co.za for details. MyWay is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply.
I'm Tembeni Ngangisa, the MEC for Department of Agriculture and Rural Development in the Free State. On the 31st August, we'll host a provincial female farmers recognition ceremony in Sasolburg. This event is aimed at celebrating the contribution of women in agriculture. We salute these female farmers and wish them well. We will continue to channel our resources in ensuring that they reach greater heights. Hashtag building the Free State we want.
So you're still telling us about your relationship with the late Kansas City?
Correct. So it's about 2 in the morning,
Yeah.
and I'm live on air, and the phone rings, and I answer. It's Kansas City Law. My heart skipped.
You've never met
bit.
before?
No.
Okay.
My heart skipped a bit. I remember this as though it happened yesterday. Kansas City Law. I was shaking again.
Mm.
And we chat, and he tells me what he thinks of me. And he was in Johannesburg to record TV2 Ngomgqibelo Kamukibelo.
Yes.
And it was a Saturday morning, early hours of the morning, about 2 in the morning. And so we made an appointment to meet on set at the TV center. And I knocked off at 5. I never slept.
You're too excited.
I didn't sleep at all. I couldn't fall asleep.
Yeah.
And I made my way to the SABC in the afternoon to meet him. And so I get there, and he was on set with the late Bobby Dlegilele. May his soul rest in peace. And they tell him that someone is here to see him. And he finishes his link, and he sees me from a distance. He runs to me. He runs to me. This is Kansas City. And he gives me the longest hug. The longest hug.
And he's the biggest in the industry at the time.
He keeps saying, Mganami, which is my friend.
Yeah.
I'm singing for the first time. Mganami, throughout. And he wouldn't let me go. And Kansas City was amazing. He took some liking in me. The first time I flew was courtesy of Kansas City. He invited me to his home in Durban to meet his family. He put me up in a 5-star hotel in Durban. And that's how much he never wanted me to leave his side. He never did. And he would tell me stories. And in 1987,
yeah,
he asked me to be his best man. He was getting married
at his
in
wedding,
1988, and he asked me to be his best man. And I said to him, "Well, no, I don't qualify. There have to be people that know you better
than me.
And your colleagues, people you've known for your age mates, and respectfully so. And I just am not the right person for it."
Yeah.
He was not taking a no for an answer. And I remember saying to him, "But there's Bodloza, there's VVO, I can go on and on and on. They can play that role better than I can." He was taking a no for an answer. Then eventually he said, realizing that I was not budging, he then says, "Okay, can you then be my MC, Mganami?" I agreed. And so in 1988, his MC at his wedding.
Wow.
A place called Camperdown.
Yes, Camperdown, yeah.
That's where the wedding took place. And here's the story. We had a long journey, and we would stay up. He would be in Johannesburg, and would stay up until the early hours of the morning, just talking and talking and talking and talking. The one day, he calls me and he says, I'm going to be in Johannesburg. By the way, there was hardly a time when Kansas City came to Johannesburg, and he didn't tell me that he was coming to Johannesburg.
Okay.
So this one time, he tells me, and he tells me where he will be staying. But he was not coming to work. He was accompanying his then wife, Sis Mtolo, who also worked for the SABC as a makeup artist. So I went to his hotel and was staying there. That day, he told me everything I needed to know, in his opinion, about his life. Okay. Everything. Who he really, really was, and not Mkunu, but his actual surname, because Mkunu was his mother's surname. He gave me his biography, his life story.
Which he had never done before.
From the first point until the end. Late in the afternoon, at about 4, when I was bidding him goodbye, he reaches out to a cabinet in the hotel.
Yeah.
And he takes out an envelope. He gives it to me. He says, Mganami, you open it when you get home. And so I leave, and I was very anxious. I couldn't wait to get home.
Yeah.
But I had to respect the fact that he said,
Don't open
it until you get home.
Yeah.
And so I get home, and I open it. It's a picture, and it's autographed. I still have it.
That picture?
Correct.
Okay.
That's the last time I would see Kansas City.
That's the last time you saw him?
Correct.
It's as if he knew that it was time.
I can't believe it's live. Like, can we just have a moment?
I'm seeing your voice notes coming in. We'll definitely squeeze them through. So I've just asked Sir Wilson B Nkosi to stay an extra 30 minutes. Normally we're supposed to end now, but
we can't.
Like every guest will be like, no guys,
Please stay longer.
So he's still here. Yes, someone did ask about Jam Ali. We're going to talk about the fact that he was on Jam Ali.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep it locked on the show.
SABC News. Independent and impartial.
Top stories: for political parties declares their funding, and President Ramaphosa addresses the illegal immigration issue. Good morning, I'm Roseanne Grief. A total of 4 political parties have made disclosures to the tune of 27 million rand for the first quarter of the 2022-23 financial year, as required by the Political Funding Act. The Democratic Alliance topped that list, having received close to 16 million rand. President Cyril Ramaphosa signed the act into law last year in an effort to promote accountability. The IEC's manager for party funding is Matsobane Nkoko.
A total declared in this regard is just over 27 million rand, made up of 4 parties, which are Action SA, which declared 750,000 rand, the African National Congress, which declared 10 million, Democratic Alliance, which declared the highest amount of 15,977,000, and the Patriotic Alliance, which declared 310,000 rand.
EFF leader Julius Malema has demanded that President Ramaphosa be held to account in the Phala Farm saga. Ramaphosa's Parliament question and answer session was delayed by more than an hour yesterday as some opposition MPs called for it to be held in person. Ramaphosa says he wants to give law enforcement agencies investigating the farm robbery the space to do their work before addressing it. Malema was speaking during the session at the National Assembly.
The president comes here when we try to play our role. The speaker is defending by talking about something else. So the president must answer the question today. He went to kidnap people, he engaged in money laundering, he intimidated women and kidnapped women in his farm, and we are told he must not answer. Please, the president must answer the question.
President Ramaphosa says he understands the demand by some South Africans that they should receive priority when services are delivered. He said, however, dealing with illegal immigration should be done within the confines of the law and that residents should not take the law into their own hands. Ramaphosa says the issues that Limpopo Health MEC Poppy Ramatuba has raised are important.
And it is a matter that is going to enjoy quite a lot of attendance even as we meet at head of state level.
Tributes are being paid worldwide to Mikhail Gorbachev, the former Soviet leader who brought the Cold War to a peaceful end. The late UK Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher recalled her meeting with Gorbachev in 1987.
And after he had gone, I thought that I must get on to President Reagan and say, look, I've met this man, and he's quite different. And the phrase just tumbled out. He's a man we can do business with.
The rand is at 16 rand 89 to the US dollar, 19 rand 73 to pound sterling, and 16 rand 95 to the euro. Gold is at $1,723 and platinum at $854 an ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $100.10 a barrel. The top story at 8, a total of 4 political parties have made disclosures to the tune of 27 million rand for the first quarter of the 2022-23 financial year, as required by the Political Funding Act. More news at 8:30.
In your final sport headlines on the Best Breakfast Show in the land, Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel has admitted that his side could still use some new additions. We'll also look ahead to today's Premier League fixtures. And Springbok coach Jacques Nienaber is not feeling the pressure just yet. He's made 8 changes for the clash against the Wallabies. Details and more in our final updates at 8:30.
On air, online, and on your mobile. This is Radio 2000 Traffic.
Good morning, then. 1 through Midrand stays busy after an earlier crash this morning down at Buccleuch Interchange. There's the backlog of traffic coming very slowly from Olifantsfontein down through New Road, Allendale, and in towards that Buccleuch Interchange area. A big crash just outside Newcastle. If you need the R34, the Memel Road, the road is currently blocked. You're not going to be able to get through on that 34 for some time. Durban having a bit of a nightmare traffic scenario this morning. There is the closure of Mgeni Road at Springfield. That's still in place. Alpine Road going north of Mgeni still closed. So a lot of localized congestion there. You can't come off the M2 onto Mgeni Road, so you're sitting from Queen Nandi Drive right down to Spaghetti Junction. An earlier crash on the Southern Freeway, which badly backed things up this morning. It's also forced traffic onto the M2 north into Spaghetti, so both ways into 4 level, it's heavy. And then a lot of trucks parking up through Rossborough, Umbilo, Congella, something to do with coal trucks being sent in big numbers in towards Durban. There's some really serious congestion in that part of Durban this morning. Also, some roadworks bottom end of the Pietermaritzburg bypass the N3 at Market Road. It is a heavy one if you're Durban bound this morning. Cape Town, the highway stay busy. The M1 from Plattekloof Hill through to Coburg Interchange is probably the busiest, and still no trains. Cape Flats and Southern Line services remain suspended until further notice.
Banking on young South Africans for a brighter future requires us to inculcate a culture of critical thinking. And we need this now more than ever. Join in on conversations that build, educate, and entertain. Catch Daily Teta on SABC1 every Monday to Thursday morning from 10:30 to 11:30. Shift the narrative and take charge. SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Play Lotto for an estimated 82 million rand jackpot this Wednesday, and you could end August on a winning note. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za or the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529 hash for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play! Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
So Outsurance has been telling you that they might be able to save you money on your car insurance. Like one of their clients, a 36-year-old woman who saves a massive 13,212 rand a year to insure her white 2020 VW Polo 1 litre. So you need to SMS out to 37221 for a quote. Outsurance is a licensed insurer in FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent and reviewed annually. T's and C's apply.
Stay in touch with us. Facebook, Radio 2000 ZA.
So I would have just said Marvin Gaye, Dream of a Lifetime.
And then we'd move on to the next thing.
Right? But this is how Sir Wilson B Nkosi does this.
Well, he's Marvin Gayeing the music. Marvin Gaye, that's Dad, Dream of a Lifetime.
Who am I?
Who are we?
This is my life.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, let's get this out of the way because I am just way too excited. The hustle and opportunity for your business to get on the map and get on nationwide radio. So all you do is send your name and the name of your business to our WhatsApp line. It's 060-584-2250. And this morning, we've got Zuwati. Zuwati is a boutique. It's a multimedia design studio boutique. And this is what they have to offer this morning.
My name is Samantha Maluka. I am the director of Zuwati Studio. Zuwati is a multimedia design studio specializing in brand identities and visual communication. We produce captivating and effective design solutions, helping businesses grow. Our services include, but are not limited to, graphic design, corporate identity, website design, as well as motion graphics. Zuwati believes in a culture that actively recruits, develops, and retains talent and diversity. Our goal is 100% client satisfaction. You're welcome to contact us on samantha@zuwati.co.za or WhatsApp us on 076-705-3540. My song choice for today is MT Joe Hasselberg.
Hustle. It's a business called Zuwati and it's a boutique multimedia design studio. Please find them 076-705-3540. That's 076-705-3540. We also have all this information on our Twitter at Radio2000_ZA.
Radio 2000, you always make my day, but today it's a wow day. And
Thank you for bringing Wilson B Nkosi in the studio. We are enjoying. Thank you.
Good morning, the winning team, the 2 million gang. Hey guys, I think it's long overdue. That man that you are with, he deserves a doctorate. I will call him Dr. Wilson B Nkosi. He's the doctor. He deserves it. We love you, my man. We love you.
Good morning, 2 million gang. You're speaking to Bradley from Rustenburg. I know Mr. Wilson from Elements. He would frequent Elements, and I would always attend if I'm around. Mr. Wilson, thank you so much for the music, sir. May God continuously keep you. Thank you so much for introducing me to the likes of Phyllis Hyman, Roy Aries. You know, you can name them, and I'm only about in my 30s, but I enjoy this music. This music brought me into touch, I would say, with a deeper side of me. Storytelling should never die. It should continue through music, and you are a big part of that. Thank you so much, sir.
90 to 93, you were on Jameli.
Yes, I was.
Now that I think of the show then and the energy and how the show was and the little time that I've spent with you, because now I feel like I know you. Am I wrong in saying that you didn't enjoy that show as much as we thought you did?
I didn't, because it was not an extension of the person that I think I am and the way I see myself. Jameli was not my first TV gig. My first TV gig was Sidlalela Inja Ulucha.
Yes.
That I enjoyed. I had a co-presenter by the name of Nomawe Tudingiswayo. That was in 1987, and it went on until around 1990. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Jameli, I got the gig, but as I got into it, I realized that this is not quite what I would like to do. And I enjoyed working with Vinola Mashiko and Leon Mazibogo. Vinola Mashiko was great. She always made me laugh on set and everything.
Yeah.
But I just didn't see myself fitting in. And so I asked them to release me, and they wouldn't. And I asked them to let me go. They wouldn't. And so I orchestrated my way out.
Okay.
And they were all sorts of threats that I would never be on TV again, and they will never employ me again.
Who are you to leave a show?
You know, and... But, you know, Karen Vundla, who owned Studio Mix, would always call me to stand in for Bob Mapena, because Bob Mapena and Melanie Sun presented Studio Mix. Yes. And whenever Bob Mapena was not there, I'll show up. In spite of all the threats that I'll never be on SABC TV again.
Your greatest of all time, Michael Jordan. I know I often hear you speaking about Charles Barkley quite a bit. And if you look at what LeBron has done to the game, would you be able to give us like your own greatest of all time in terms of basketball?
I mean, even before you say that, I think we need to create umfanekiso ngqondweni, right? Yeah. I mean, that Wilson B Nkosi is walking in here looking like a basketball player.
He's wearing a baseball cap
of a basketball player, baseball cap facing backwards. You know, hoodie. You are like a basketball player.
And I play soul music. How do you
right?
It doesn't add up, right?
No, it doesn't make sense.
So we're going to pay bills, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to find out. There's so much pressure here, because we know we've all got our favorites. I know Charles Barkley's there in the conversation. I know Michael Jordan's there. But LeBron James, don't play us. So we're going to find out.
Concept Events presents The Garden of Eden. Come and enjoy this daytime explosion of spring and music at the breathtaking Walter Sisulu National Botanical Gardens on Saturday, the 3rd of September. Hosted by Somizi. Also live on stage, Sonke, Loyiso, Nomfundo Mo, and a special tribute performance by the legendary Kwaito group, Boom Shaka. Tickets available at Compute Tickets. Hello, Spring.
Angola made it count in their home ground with a 2-0 victory against South Africa in the African Nations Championship CHAN qualifiers. It is now Bafana Bafana's turn to show the world they can do it in their own backyard. 2 nations, but only 1 ticket available to destination Algeria. Can Africa Tsonga produce evidence that it is not yet over? Or will the Portuguese-speaking nation seal the deal and collect the only ticket up for grabs for the 7th edition of CHAN? Catch South Africa and Angola in the final leg of the CHAN qualifiers on Sunday, 4 September at 2:30 p.m. live on SABC1. Hashtag We Love It Here. Brought to you by SABC Sport.
Are you in debt? Are you unable to meet your monthly repayments? Are your creditors about to take legal action and repossess your home or car? Well, debt relief specialists have a solution for you. You need to SMS the word HELP to 31623, and debt relief specialists will assist you with protection from legal action, credit harassment, as well as reducing your monthly debt repayments by up to 50%. So for immediate debt relief, SMS HELP to 31623. That is HELP to 31623. Debt relief specialists opening a way for a brighter tomorrow. T's and C's apply.
Pella Mission, we've got you covered on 94.3 FM. Feel good music.
Okay, no pressure. Your greatest of all time in basketball.
It's between Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
How do you have anyone that's in front? Because I find that Michael Jordan, because he was bigger than the game, I find that people don't look at stats. Because if you look at stats, LeBron James is leading.
Correct. So Michael Jordan has name recognition. He's a global figure.
He's Jordan.
And so it's easy to always gravitate towards Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Because he did things that we had never ever seen before.
Yes.
He introduced us to someone flying, defying, gravity. But LeBron James has done things that I never saw Mr. Jordan do. But Michael Jordan has name recognition, so he has that unfair advantage. But also he's an enigma. He's a mystery. And people always want to know more about him, and he's not available, and all that plays in his favor.
Whereas LeBron James is on social media and you can see it. It almost makes him human.
Well, he has humility. You can almost touch it. That's LeBron James. He has humility in spite of all that he has achieved. I have to mention the fact that in that mix, we should never forget one Kobe Bryant. We shouldn't.
I feel like if he had played longer, then him and LeBron would be fighting. Because I've got him after LeBron. When I look at stats, when I look at wins,
He had a 20-year run. He was the closest to Michael Jordan, even in terms of the style of play. He had that finesse. And
he was a finisher.
He made it look very, very easy. And you'd look at him and I can do that.
And then you get to the court and it's a different story.
It's a different story altogether. And then there's Charles Barkley. I have to tell you how Charles Barkley features in the story of my life.
Yeah.
I have to respect the fact that he is not your typical basketball player. He's not made like one. He doesn't have the physical attributes.
It looks like he should play football.
Yes, American football or rugby. He's a buffed up boy and big, but he's got this big heart, big engine, and you have to respect that. He overcame a lot based strictly on his heart. He's got a big heart. And he doesn't feature even in my top 5. He doesn't. But in terms of respect, he is probably in the top 1.
Okay, I get you. And also, he's still in the game. He's still
you
broadcasting. You can't. He's still a voice in the game that's recognized. So I completely get it.
You can't wish him away.
Wait, before I ask you this question, you were saying something earlier that you used to tell Bob Mabena, may he rest, that he was the Michael Jordan of radio.
Always.
And what did he say?
He would say, Michael Jordan needs Charles Barkley. but I always used to tell Mabena this, that you are our leader. You lead the way.
Yeah.
We all follow you, Bob Mabena. I used to tell them that all the time. And because that's what I thought of him. My opinion of Bob Mabena was at an all-time high from the moment we met.
Sure.
We met in 1989 when he joined Radio Bob. And I liked him instantly. Bob Mabena was very likable. I mean, he would walk in here, and even if you didn't know who he was, you'd like him because it's Bob Mabena.
Yes.
He had that extra something, he had that charisma. And he made it easy for himself by being, just
good.
Charming.
Really good.
You know the boy next door.
Yes. And speaking of someone like Bob Mabena, who was a 1%er, you are a 1%er. I mean, not just in the broadcasting industry, but in South Africa, And you came all the way from Swaziland to Johannesburg. that first experience of you coming here, and I ask you this because so many children believe and think that coming to Joburg is the only way to break. And what are those steps that you took that directed you?
So, respectfully, and I've gone into trouble with the people of Swaziland when I say this, but I will say it again because it's true. I felt that Swaziland was, and I'm saying it respectfully, was way too small for my dreams. And I say it with all the humility and with all the respect in the world. I would later go home and they would say, "What did you say?" but that is true. The same way that maybe if you ply your trade in Johannesburg, you may think maybe Joburg is smaller than New York. So if you're in New York, you may say, well, Joburg was small for my dreams. So it was the same thing. And I remember this, thinking, I'm going. But all my life, I've been sheltered. All my life. At home, at school, I went to a boarding school. My life was always sheltered. I had my biological brother, Sipho, who always stood up for me. He fought my battles. And the time came for me to leave. And I said to myself, how am I going to face life now without my brother? What I did not know was that there were a lot of Siphos waiting for me in Johannesburg.
Wow.
And when I came to Johannesburg, I found that there were a lot of Siphos who were willing to stand up for me. I remember this well. I remember this as though it happened yesterday. On the day that I left home for Johannesburg, my dad and my mother were there. My dad said, this is an expression that we use where I come from. Live eliangayelwa. Live eliangayelwa means respect people everywhere you go, respect people. And I remember my dad saying, Nkosi, live eliangayelwa. Those were his last words as I got into the taxi. And I remember my mother saying, Nkosi, you know that I love you, hey? I said, yes, Mom. And we hugged. And I remember looking as I was in the taxi until the taxi was out of sight. She kept waving.
Wow.
Until the taxi was out of sight. She kept waving throughout. So I remember Dad saying, Nkosi, live eliangayelwa. It means respect people everywhere you go. Show people respect.
Sure.
We've been speaking about ghosts in the past 15 minutes, and we have to go to this goat. May his soul rest in peace as well. And on Twitter, it's actually come up a lot. Can you please ask the legend how the transition was after the loss of Eddie Zondi? And there was another question as well that was asking about Babu Zondi.
Yeah, I'm not out of the woods yet. I spent a great deal of my time with him. We did everything together, but I mean everything together. Thanks,
because I don't want to run out of time and not end it properly. We want to thank you. You know,
I mean, standing ovation.
I'm actually like, because I don't want to get emotional because I'm so free to finish this thing. But even just you accepting that invite to come to the show, you didn't have to do it. You know, I'm not going to read them, but if I could read the message and the response that he gave me, you know, he first apologized for replying late.
And also, just the whole time he was here, let me just tell you, he's been saying, thank you so much for this opportunity. The level of humility.
You've saved so many people, you know. As I'm speaking to you now, WhatsApps are coming through on my phone. There was one that came through from a friend of mine who says, Uti, guys, I was suicidal at some point, and I think you've got poems that you do on your show, and you read something about hope.
Yes,
and he says that's what actually stopped him from committing suicide. Some people are saying you represent their parents. Some people are saying you are almost a connection and the closure that they needed to have with people that have passed on.
Well, it's an obligation for me to come here, and I thank you for inviting me. I have to do this because the SABC gave my childhood dream a fighting chance. And so I have to reciprocate in one way or another. Had it not been for the SABC, I don't think I would have been able to do the things that I've been able to do. I've been given way too many opportunities, and it all started with the SABC because people at the SABC, Mr. Kwas Hadebe, Mr. Taste-Law, and many, many others have helped me along the way. I'm a beneficiary of acts of kindness. A lot of people have helped me, have held my hand. And so I had to do this because the SABC is at the center of all this.
The whole interview, in case you missed it, you can actually watch it at Radio 2000_ZA on Facebook as well as on YouTube. But before we are late, sorry, Roseanne, I know I'm late for news. It is 8:30, so thank you.
Thank you.
Siyabonga.
Thank you.
SABC News. Independent and impartial.
Good morning. A total of 4 political parties have made disclosures to the tune of over 27 million rand for the first quarter of the 2022-23 financial year as required by the Political Funding Act. And government has condemned the actions of citizens who have been preventing people from accessing healthcare services at Kalafong Hospital in Atteridgeville, Pretoria. The protesters, who are believed to be members of Operation Dudula, have been stopping migrant patients from receiving healthcare services. More news at 9.
Get it first on your mobile, on the web, and on your dial. This is Radio 2000 Sport.